Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went in there in the first place? Or found yourself struggling to remember the name of someone you just met, or worse, someone you've known for years? You're not alone. And let me tell you something important right off the bat. Forgetting things every now and then doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you're human. But as we get older, those little slips can feel a bit more frequent, and that's when the worry starts to creep in. The truth is, just like our muscles and joints need a little extra care after 60, so does our brain. And the great news is, you can absolutely keep it sharp, strong, and even improve it, no matter your age. Your brain isn't done growing. It's not frozen in time. It's like a garden, and with the right daily care, it can keep blooming beautifully for years to come. So today, let's sit down and talk, just you and me, about 5 simple brain exercises you can do every single day to stay mentally sharp and help prevent memory loss. These aren't complicated or time-consuming. You don't need fancy equipment or a PhD in neuroscience. You just need a bit of curiosity, consistency, and a willingness to stretch your mind in small but powerful ways. Let's begin with something surprisingly powerful, learning something new every day. I know, it sounds basic. But here's the thing, your brain craves novelty. When you try something unfamiliar, like a new recipe, a few words in another language, or even learning to use a new app on your phone, you're actually creating fresh connections in your brain. These new neural pathways keep your mind flexible, adaptable, and young. Think of it like a mental gym workout. And no, you don't have to go enroll in a college course, unless you want to, of course. It could be as simple as reading a short article about a topic you've never explored before, trying your hand at Sudoku or a crossword puzzle, or even just switching up your daily routine. One gentleman I spoke to recently told me he started brushing his teeth with his non-dominant hand every morning just to challenge his brain. It might sound silly, but it works. Little changes like that force your brain to pay attention, to adapt, to grow. Another daily brain booster is conversation. Real, meaningful conversation. Not just small talk about the weather, though that counts too, but the kind of talking that makes you think, recall, and express. When was the last time you shared a story from your past, explained how to do something to someone younger, or debated your favorite movie with a friend? Every time you do, you're exercising your memory, your reasoning, and your verbal skills, all key parts of brain health. And I want to emphasize something important here. Even if you live alone or don't get out as much as you used to, connection is still possible. A simple phone call, a video chat with a grandchild, or even joining a community group online can spark that conversation and keep your mind engaged. You don't need a crowd, you just need connection. Now, let's talk about movement. You might not think of exercise as a brain workout, but oh, how it is. Regular physical movement, even gentle walking or stretching, gets the blood flowing to your brain, delivering the oxygen and nutrients it needs to function at its best. But here's the fun part, combine movement with mental engagement, and you've got a double win. Ever tried dancing? Or Tai Chi? These activities require both coordination and concentration. That's powerful brain training. One woman I met in her 70s started learning basic salsa moves at home by watching free videos online. Not only did it get her heart rate up, but she was learning new steps, following rhythm, and smiling while doing it. That kind of joyful, engaged movement can light up areas of the brain that keep your memory sharp and your spirit even sharper. Of course, not every brain workout has to be active or social. Some of the most important mental exercises happen when we're still. When we reflect. One of the most underrated habits you can build is simply spending a few minutes each day in quiet thought, maybe through journaling or mindfulness. Now, I know mindfulness gets tossed around a lot these days, but don't worry, I'm not talking about sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop for hours. I'm talking about something as simple as paying attention to your breathing for a few minutes. Or writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Or closing your eyes and visualizing a peaceful place from your past, your childhood home, a beach you once visited, the smell of your favorite meal. These moments of presence calm the mind, reduce stress, and improve focus. And stress, as we both know, can be a real enemy when it comes to memory and clarity. Giving your brain space to breathe is just as valuable as challenging it. So far, we've explored how learning something new, having real conversations, moving with purpose, and being present can all help keep your brain in top shape. These practices aren't meant to be perfect or rigid. They're meant to fit into your life in a way that feels good, natural, and sustainable. You don't need to be busy every second or always doing something productive. What matters most is that you're giving your brain a little love every day, a little challenge, a little variety, a little peace. That's how you stay sharp, stay connected, and stay you. Now that we've looked at some of the most powerful everyday brain exercises that anyone can do after 60, let's keep going and look a little deeper into something that's both simple and surprisingly powerful: memory recall. Now, I know that sounds like stating the obvious, right? To improve memory, just use your memory. But hear me out, because the way we use it matters. Most of us go through the day without really challenging our brains to remember on purpose. We rely on sticky notes, reminders on our phones, or habits that don't require us to think twice. And hey, there's nothing wrong with a little help, especially when it makes life easier. But what if, once a day, you gave your memory a mini workout? Here's something easy to try. Before bed each night, take a few quiet minutes to mentally replay your day. Ask yourself, what did I eat for breakfast? Who did I talk to today? What was the name of that show I watched? Don't worry if it doesn't all come back right away. The point isn't perfection, it's practice. This simple habit encourages your brain to retrieve information, to organize it, and to strengthen those memory pathways. Another fun twist is to pick a random year from your life, let's say 1975. Then ask yourself, where was I living then? Who were my friends? What music did I love? You'd be surprised how much comes flooding back. And when it does, it's like oiling the gears of your brain. You're not just remembering, you're reconnecting with your own story. And your story is something worth keeping alive and vivid. You can also do this with a loved one. Ask your spouse or a friend to play along and take turns recalling shared memories. Not only does it keep your brain active, it deepens relationships. And that emotional connection? That's a brain booster too. When you remember something meaningful, your brain lights up in a different way, stronger, deeper. So don't be afraid to take those strolls down memory lane. They're good for the heart and the mind. Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about something a lot of people overlook when it comes to brain health: nutrition. Yes, what you eat absolutely affects how clearly you think and how well you remember. We tend to associate food with physical health, cholesterol, weight, blood pressure, but your brain is hungry, too. It needs good fuel to function at its best. I'm not saying you need to go on some extreme diet or cut out all the foods you love. That's no way to enjoy life. But you can be mindful of the choices you make. For example, adding foods like blueberries, walnuts, leafy greens, and fatty fish, like salmon or mackerel, can provide nutrients that support brain health. They're rich in antioxidants and omega-3s, which help protect your brain from aging and inflammation. Even staying hydrated plays a role. Sometimes when we feel foggy or forgetful, it's not a memory problem, it's dehydration. So, don't forget to drink water throughout the day. A small thing, sure, but those small things add up. And while we're talking about nourishment, let's not forget about mental nutrition, what you feed your mind. What kinds of books are you reading? What kind of shows do you watch? Who do you spend time talking with? Everything you take in has an impact. You wouldn't feed your body only junk food every day, and your mind deserves the same care. Maybe instead of just watching the news, especially when it's stressful, you try watching a documentary on something you've always been curious about. Or you pick up a novel by an author you've never read. Or tune into a podcast that teaches you something new. The idea isn't to force yourself into constant learning mode, but to enjoy new ideas, stretch your thinking, and stay mentally engaged with the world around you. That sense of curiosity, of staying open to the new, that's what keeps a mind sharp. I once met a gentleman in his early 80s who had started learning about astronomy in his 70s, just for fun. He didn't plan to become a scientist. He just liked looking at the stars and wondering about the universe. That sense of wonder? It's like rocket fuel for your brain. And before we move on, let me share one more idea that ties everything together: routine with variety. It might sound like a contradiction, but let me explain. Having a daily routine is great for mental clarity. It gives your brain structure, reduces decision fatigue, and keeps you grounded. But if every single day looks exactly the same, your brain stops paying attention. It goes on autopilot. So the trick is to mix things up, just a little, within that routine. Take a different route on your morning walk. Listen to music from a different decade while you make lunch. Rearrange a few things on your kitchen counter. These tiny shifts keep your brain alert, noticing, adapting. Even brushing your teeth with the other hand, like we mentioned earlier, fits into this idea. You're not throwing away your routine, you're just adding a few playful twists. That combination of familiarity and novelty is incredibly healthy for your brain. Everything we've talked about today, whether it's memory recall, nourishing your body and mind, or adding variety to your day, comes down to one thing: intention. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You don't need to spend hours a day on brain games or puzzles. You just need to be a little more intentional, a little more curious, a little more present. And the best part? It's never too late to start. Your brain is still growing, still learning, still capable of change. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise, not even that little voice in your head. Next, we'll keep building on these ideas and explore one more daily practice that can bring everything together in a powerful way. By talking about something that might surprise you: creativity. Yes, creativity. It's not just for artists or musicians or poets. It's for anyone with a mind, and that includes you. In fact, creative expression is one of the most effective, joyful ways to keep your brain active and emotionally fulfilled as you age. You see, when you engage in a creative activity, whether it's painting, playing an instrument, writing a letter, or even arranging flowers, you're lighting up multiple parts of your brain all at once. You're pulling from memory, engaging emotion, using problem-solving skills, and coordinating your hands and eyes. That's a full workout, and you might not even realize you're doing it because it feels so natural, even fun. Now, before you say, "But I'm not creative," let me stop you right there. Creativity isn't about being perfect. It's not about producing a masterpiece or impressing anyone. It's about exploring, expressing, and enjoying. One lovely woman I spoke with recently shared how she started doodling while talking on the phone. Over time, those little scribbles became a daily habit. She said it helped her relax, focus her mind, and gave her a sense of personal joy. That's the power of creativity. It doesn't need to be big or bold to make a difference. And if drawing or painting isn't your thing, that's perfectly okay. Creativity can show up in cooking a new dish, planting a garden, or even rearranging your furniture in a new way. The point is to do something that sparks imagination, playfulness, or beauty. Your brain loves those sparks. It thrives on them. What's beautiful about these daily brain exercises, learning something new, connecting with others, moving with purpose, reflecting mindfully, nourishing your mind, and tapping into creativity, is that they aren't separate, isolated activities. They feed into each other, creating a rhythm of mental wellness that grows stronger over time. You don't need a strict schedule or a checklist to follow. Just think of it like feeding different parts of your brain, a little bit each day. Some days you'll be more active, other days more reflective. That's okay. The goal isn't to become a different person, it's to stay connected to who you are, to sharpen the edges a little, and to enjoy the richness of life with clarity, confidence, and joy. Because here's the truth: aging doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean depth. It can mean growth in new directions. It can mean becoming more fully yourself than ever before. Your experience, your memories, your perspective, they are treasures. And the more you care for your brain, the more access you'll have to those treasures. And don't forget, your brain doesn't just work in isolation. It's deeply connected to your body, your heart, your relationships, your sense of purpose. When you laugh, when you feel gratitude, when you help someone else, that's brain health, too. Those moments might not seem like exercises, but they are. They remind your mind that life is meaningful, that you are still needed, still growing, still contributing. I know it's easy to feel discouraged sometimes. Maybe you've noticed changes in your memory, or you've had moments that made you feel less sharp than you used to be. But I want to tell you something very clearly: those moments do not define you. You are not your forgetfulness. You are not your slip-ups. You are a whole, vibrant person with a lifetime of experience and wisdom, and that is something no one, and no age, can take from you. By making small choices each day, you can absolutely strengthen your brain and feel more mentally alive than ever. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent, curious, and kind to yourself in the process. So if today, you try one small thing, maybe recalling your day before bed, or listening to a new kind of music, or calling a friend for a meaningful conversation, consider that a win. And tomorrow, maybe you add one more thing. Before you know it, these little habits start weaving themselves into your life, and your mind starts feeling clearer, lighter, more awake. I'd love to hear from you. What's something you do to keep your mind sharp? Do you have a favorite memory exercise, a book you're reading, or a hobby that lights up your brain? Let's share our ideas and support each other. Leave a comment below. I read every single one, and I always love hearing your stories. And if this video brought you any inspiration, I hope you'll take a second to like it and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach more wonderful people just like you who are looking for ways to age with strength, joy, and clarity. There's so much more to explore together, and I'd be honored to have you with me. Remember this: it's never too late to grow, to learn, to laugh, and to shine. You're not behind. You're right where you need to be. Take care of that beautiful mind of yours, and keep living your best life every single day. Here's to staying sharp, staying joyful, and staying wonderfully, powerfully you.